Hi guys, in this video I create a dialog box image for the dialog box video that also came out today. Enjoy. So the first thing we want to do, just going to check the levels. First thing we want to do when we make a dialog box is come up with a cool graphic. I'm not going to do that because I have about as much artistic talent as this camera battery here. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come up with something that's reasonably okay, and then you can come up with something much better than what I'm going to come up with. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do just now. But I thought what I'd do is make a separate video with this in it, and then later on, I haven't made the dialog box yet, but the video is coming at the same time as this video, but it hasn't arrived yet. So without further ado, this is the project that we're going to be importing things in. If you haven't seen this video, it's up there somewhere. There's a card will appear up there, and basically it creates a list box, and we can clear the item in the list dynamically, and we can add to them and all that kind of stuff. So I want to create a dialog box so that when I click on clear list, it doesn't clear immediately, it prints a dialog box up. So my canvas default size is 1920 by 1080. So I'm going to create a really bad UI for this. And I'm just going to do like a really basic shape here. So my basic shape is basically going to be that. And then I'm going to have this shape in here. And that's going to be my corner, because the way that, and it's quite convenient the way that Photoshop's done this, is I actually want to cut this shape into 9 separate segments. And the reason I want to cut it into 9 separate segments is that when we stretch our image, we want the corner parts of that image not to be stretched. So it's okay stretching something that's horizontal, because one pixel to the next, if you stretch that, it's going to be the same pixel. Whereas if you resize something like that, you're going to the corners all squished in, everything. So I want to be able to have a sliced image. So that's what we're going to be doing for this one here. So I'm going to grab this guy here, and I'm going to fill that in. And then likewise, I'm going to do these down the edges as well. I think that's far enough there probably, and a little bit in here, and try and kind of mill out as much as I can. Without kind of going over the lines. And this one is in there, and then this one is here, I think. Yeah, so then I just want to do that there, and then I can start adding the sort of detail into here. So this is this bit here. That's right. So you can sort of see where this is going. I'm just basically making a square within a square. Nothing too fancy. And I'm using the M tool, the marquee tool, M, and then I'm pressing G to get to the fill there. So this is Adobe Photoshop. I use Photoshop to create images. I actually do some photography and video work as well, so it's a handy app to have if you have that. And if you don't have that, you can use GIMP or Paint or whatever. I do want to make the background not transparent. I don't want the background here to be transparent. But if I bring this over here, I have a second layer here. I do actually want this part to be white. Okay, so I'm going to change that to a white color, and then I'm going to click on gray like that. Okay, so that's going to get my image. So my image is going to be basically created from this square, and this square, and then this square, and then so on. And I'm going to save that off to my UI. So I actually use a source control, so all of this is actually going to go in the repository, and the link is down in the show notes down there. But I have my address here that I want to put things out to. I want to save these things out to, so I'm going to save that. And this is going to go into, I'm going to call this PS source. And I'm going to call that dialog box. I'm going to save it as that, and then OK. And then I'm going to export it, and I'm going to export it. So I want to save this as a PNG 24. And you can see that I want to have these as being transparent at the edge there, so that when the dialog gets stretched, we don't stretch everything else. And so I'm going to save this here, and I'm going to save it directly to here. So I'm going to call this dialog box PNG. Okay. Now, for every pixel on here, I want it to appear as 4 times the size. So when I go back into Unity, that's all I need to do inside Dialogbox. You can make this as ornate as possible, but just remember that you want to have like 4 distinct corners, and then horizontal fills, top and bottom, and vertical fills either side as well. So you want to have something square basically to create your image from. So if I create a new scene and then create a new canvas, and I'm going to make this screen space canvas is right, and then I'm going to change that to scale with screen size, and I'm going to create my reference resolution. So this is the default resolution. I'm going to make it 1920 by 1080. Okay, so that's 1920 pixels by 10,080 pixels. So if I drag and drop, if I create an image here, and I have my image here, and I make this image, let's say I make this image 200 by 200, okay? So that means that this image is now 200 pixels by 200 pixels, okay? So 200 across, 200 down. That's the reference size for this image. Now, if you put that on a smaller screen, we're going to shrink that down, so it's going to be much smaller in size. It's not going to take up as many pixels as that. So if you bring it down to like 800 by 480, that's going to be like half size. So the effective resolution will be 100 by 100 pixels, if that makes sense. Because remember, our canvas is set to be a reference scale. So it's scale with screen size. Oh yeah, we need to change that to 0.5 as well, so it scales properly there. So reference pixels per unit is 100, okay. So that, if a sprite is this pixels per unit setting, then 1 pixel in the sprite will cover 1 unit in the UI. Okay, so our reference pixel per unit is 100. We don't want that, we want that to be 4. No, wait, do we want that to, I mean, okay, this is where I get the calculation wrong. I think we want it to be 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that dialog box, and I'm going to drag that into our image. And it has not come in as a sprite. Why is it not coming as a sprite? Because the default is that. So I'm going to change that to a sprite. So sprite 2D and UI. And it says pixels per unit. So I want to change that to 4. Actually, if I leave that as 4, so I've never done this before actually. So if I leave this as pixels per unit as 4, I don't want it to be pixels per unit 4. I want it to be 0.25, which means that for every pixel in my image, that's 4 units on screen, which means it's a bigger, chunkier image, if that makes sense. Let's leave it at 100 just now, and then we'll bring it in just a sec. I'm gonna make it tight, extrude edges, center, and then we don't want to filter it, and clamp is fine, per axis is fine, repeat fine, texture alpha is transparency, and that's we're good to go. Okay, then we're gonna click on apply. So now if I drag this onto our image box, actually let me reset this back to our 100 pixels here as well. So everything's exactly the same as it was. I better save the scene as well. So I'm going to call this import tests. I'm just going to call it import tests. And then I'm going to drag this. Oh no, I don't want to drag that in there. I want to drag that into my sprite here. So now this is what my image looks like. And to be honest, I think that's okay. I think we'll just leave it at that. That's pretty much what I wanted to do. Now the problem I have though is if I scale this, so if I want to make this dialog box bigger, so I mean obviously if I want to have I'm not going to have a dialog box that's square for a start. I'm going to have it as being a rectangle. So if I grab this and start stretching it out, you see that it doesn't maintain the pixels, which is not good. I don't want that to happen. I want the dialog box to be the same size dimensionally, and then this over here should be up against the corner, and it's just all squashed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to dialog box down here, and I am going to choose multiple, and then I'm going to click on sprite editor, and I'm going to click on apply first of all, and then it's going to have these things here, and you can do all these kind of pivoty things, but what I want to do is I want to select this cell size. What do I want to do in here? Why is it not doing this? Oh, there it is there. Why did that not work? Oh, that was weird. Okay. I don't know why that didn't work. I did click on it. Okay, so we don't want to trim anything. We just want to have this image here. So I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. So let me do that again. Revert. So I click on sprite editor, and then I click on. Do you have to make one? I thought it came in by default. Oh, that's why. Okay. Okay, so we click on sprite editor, and then I want to select this entire image for being the sprite. So I'm going to select everything. I'm just going to drag and drop a box out there. And you notice that there are these handles here, top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is I want to drag these out to here, and then I'm going to drag this one out to here, and this one to here, and finally I'm going to drag this one out to here. Now you'll notice that I now have a square shape in each one of these quadrants, and what that means is that it can be used as a sliced image, because I've decided that this is where my slices are going to go. So when we extrude from here, then we why does that look bigger? It's just weird, I guess. Yeah. So where does this go to? So this isn't there. This is actually 3 pixels away. But really, that's good enough, actually. From our point of view, we want it to be that tight in. So really, we're selecting this as being the sort of top corner of our image, and then this here is going to be our horizontal span, and then the other one's going to be the other corner, and that's good what we have there. So we're going to click on apply, and as soon as I remove this image, you'll see a difference in the actual image itself. It's much worse. Look at that. It's pathetic. Why did that do that? I'll tell you why I did that, because we didn't select this over here. So over here we have our image type, which is simple, and we don't want simple, we actually want sliced. And you'll see now that we have our sliced image, which is actually quite small, and you'll see that this is the problem I have, is that I want to bring this in so that this is actually a much bigger border, because if I play the game just now, you'll see that everything's going to cut off, and it's just horrible. Although when you zoom in, it's fine, and obviously there's a bit of scaling going on there with the game. In fact, it might actually be scaling on there. No, there's just one on there. So what I want to do is, I think what I can do is I can change this over here. So the reference pixels per unit is 100, but I want to change it in the image itself. So I'm going to choose pixels per unit, and instead of 100, so that's 100 pixels for every unit. So you'll see that if I go, if I scale this down a little bit, so if I choose this to be 100 by 100, and we zoom in here, see, he's done that slice wrong. Let's go and fix that just now. Sprite editor. Oh, that's why, because I pulled the wrong thing over. So we've got to do that. Got to make sure it's the handle itself. So the reason why that failed is because I actually pulled the blue bar over. We don't want the blue bar. We want the green handle. We want the green handle. And now you can see that we have a uniform slicing there. So we click on apply, and then we go back to our image, and we can see that our image is right. So I still want to make that, so pixels per unit is 100. What if we made that 50? You'll see that now it decreases in size, and if we do that again, so we make that 25, then click on apply, you can see that we're getting a chunkier dialog box, but it kind of keeps in fitting with the thing that we're building, because I actually want it to look like this. So when I click on play, you'll see now that we have our dialog box, and it looks not too bad. So now we can get on with our actual video, which is creating a generic dialog box. So hopefully we'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye. Hi guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked, thumbs up. If you didn't like, thumbs down, comment below, and all that kind of stuff. And thank you again for your time. If you want to watch even more videos from me, there's another video out today, and it's the follow-up to this one, which is taking that image and creating a dialog box from it. So I hope you can join me in that video. But until the next one, catch you guys later. Bye-bye.